Hello and welcome to SKTV News. You're watching Primetime English News with Himavati Kumbadabu. First headlines. IG administration K. Jayanta vows to search for 6 missing persons, including children and women, until found in Jiribam. Kokomi warns of mass agitations if government fails to rescue 6 missing persons in Jiribam district. Bomb and bullet attacks hit in multiple areas in Imphal West district. 10 houses set ablaze at Kangchuk Kharang. Bullet fired from 3rd IRB Khangabuk Sentry Post pierces a car on National Highway 102. Protest stage at Yangangpokpi Bazaar in response to gun attack on farmers. Thirteen civil society organizations called 24-hour total shutdown in state, citing government inaction in fresh violence. And Kokomi Students Front urges relevant authority to check unscrupulous price hike for essential commodities by traders in Manipur. With the rise in digital world, we extend our welcome and gratitude to our viewers for supporting the most trusted and first ever OTT platform, SKTV in Manipur, that can be watched globally. Now let's take a look at the news in detail. IGP Dr. I.K. Muiva addressed the recent attack on police and security forces in Jiribam, detailing the retaliatory action taken by the security forces against armed militants who had been targeting the Borobekra police station and the CRPF camp at Jakurathor. Dr. Muiva clarified that the attackers were not local village volunteers but armed militants equipped with sophisticated weapons intent on creating violence and chaos in the region. He made a statement during a press meet held today at police headquarters, Papupara, Imphal. I.K. Muiva said that the armed militants launched an attack at Borobekra police station in Jiribam yesterday for the second time, while CRPF has been safeguarding the area. After a gun battle, which lasted for around 45 minutes, the bodies of Kuki militants were found. Sophisticated weapons, including RGPs, were seized from the Kuki militants. According to the outfit they wore, it is hard to believe that they were just a normal village volunteer, as claimed by various Kuki organizations. He further stated that CRPF have been deployed at the area to protect the civilians and will retaliate to any attacks on civilians. I.K. Muiva further highlighted that in the aftermath of the crossfire, security forces launched a rescue operation at the Meitei villages, which were torched by the militants. Unfortunately, 2 civilians were found dead and 11 others went missing. Among the 11 missing individuals, 5 were rescued successfully, while the remaining 3 women and 3 children are still unaccounted for. Efforts are underway to locate and rescue the 6 missing persons. Additional reinforcements have been deployed in Jiribam and launched combing operation to search for the remaining missing individuals.
Yesterday in Jiribam was that afternoon around 2:30 there was an attack by armed miscreants at this Borobekra police station and also at the CRPF camp just located very nearby there at Jalurato. The armed militants, they were using RPGs and sophisticated automatic weapons such as AK and INSAS and SLRs. And the CRP also, after they were attacked, one of them got injured and the person was evacuated to Assam for treatment. After that, the firing stops after about 45 minutes. We found that there were a lot of casualties. About 10 militants were found dead. 2 old persons senior persons were found burned to death, and 3 women and 3 children, minors, were found missing. Now the police is trying to trace those 3 missing women and 3 minor children. And we try to always caution them to restrict their firing. That is one of our standard practice. We have lodged a FIR, and reinforcement also have gone there. The Assam Rifles, the CRPF, and also the civil police reinforcement has gone there, and we are doing combing operations in that Jagura Thor area.
Following the deaths of 11 armed Kuki militants in a fierce gun battle yesterday, security forces launched a search operation this morning. During the operation, they discovered the bodies of 2 villagers from Borobekra, including a man who had been killed and brutally burned in his own home. The incident occurred as villagers from Jakuradhor Karong were fleeing the intense firefight between Kuki militants and CRPF forces. The security forces were conducting a search for 10 villagers who had gone missing during the clash. Among the victims, El Bahrain, a 63-year-old man from Karong, was found completely charred in his house. Another victim, 71-year-old Maibum Kesho, was reportedly shot dead and thrown into the fire. In contrast, O Thonglen, 45-year-old, was rescued safely. Meanwhile, 3 women and 3 children were reportedly abducted by the 2 Kuki militants, and their photos have been circulated on social media. It is still unclear whether they are alive or dead. However, the security forces are continuing their search. On the other hand, additional CRPF personnel were deployed at Borobekra and will transport the bodies in Jiribam. Assistant Coordinator of Kokomi, Joy Chandra Kunthaujam, today warned for mass agitations if government fails to rescue the 6 missing individuals in Jiribam district. Speaking to media at its office, Joy Chandra Kunthaujam said Kuki militants are able to attack innocent civilians, including farmers, as there is a security loophole, as both centre and state forces have failed to ensure the safety of lives and properties of common people. Speaking further, Joy Chandra urged the government to make sure that there are no lapses in security measures, especially during this harvest season, and to act against terrorism. Meanwhile, speaking to media persons, media coordinator of Kokomi, Yumkhaibam Surjit, said CRPF personnel did their duty to protect civilians against atrocities committed by Kuki militants in Jiribam. He said, had other central forces acted sincerely, just like CRPF did yesterday, the restive crisis in the state could have been prevented from stretching further. Surjit also urged government to make all-out efforts to rescue the missing women and children, while also warning of mass agitation if any untoward happens to these missing people.
ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯐꯥꯔꯒ ꯄꯨꯈꯤꯕꯁꯦ ꯃꯁꯤ ꯑꯊꯨꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯊꯋꯥꯏꯁꯤ ꯀꯟꯕꯤꯌꯨ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯅꯤ ꯀꯩꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯊꯋꯥꯏꯁꯤ ꯀꯟꯕꯤꯗ꯭ꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯃꯤꯌꯥꯝꯒꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯑꯆꯧꯕ ꯏꯍꯧ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯁꯦꯝ ꯁꯥꯒꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯅꯤ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔ ꯒꯣꯔꯃꯦꯟꯠ ꯑꯃꯗꯤ ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯌꯥ ꯒꯣꯔꯃꯦꯟꯠꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯊꯧꯔꯝꯁꯤꯡꯗꯣ ꯁꯦꯀꯨꯔꯤꯇꯤ ꯂꯥꯞꯁ ꯑꯣꯏꯕꯗꯒꯤ ꯊꯣꯛꯄ ꯉꯥꯛ ꯉꯁꯤ ꯊꯣꯛꯏꯕ ꯉꯔꯥꯡ ꯅꯍꯥꯟ ꯃꯧ ꯅꯍꯥ ꯑꯃ ꯁꯤꯔꯤꯕꯗꯨꯁꯨ ꯁꯦꯀꯨꯔꯤꯇꯤ ꯂꯥꯞꯁ ꯑꯣꯏꯕꯗꯒꯤ ꯊꯣꯛꯄꯅꯤ ꯂꯧ ꯎꯕ ꯆꯠꯀꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯦ ꯁꯦꯟꯇ꯭ꯔꯦꯜ ꯁꯦꯀꯨꯔꯤꯇꯤ ꯐꯣꯔꯁ BSFꯇ ꯏꯟꯐꯣꯔꯃꯦꯁꯟ ꯄꯤꯔꯝꯃꯦꯕ ꯏꯟꯐꯣꯔꯃꯦꯁꯟ ꯄꯤꯅ 100 ꯃꯤꯇꯔꯗ ꯀꯥꯞꯄꯒ ꯃꯔꯨ ꯑꯍꯨꯝ ꯄꯥꯜꯂ ꯁꯤꯕꯁꯤꯕꯨ ꯁꯦꯟꯇ꯭ꯔꯦꯜ ꯁꯦꯀꯨꯔꯤꯇꯤ ꯐꯣꯔꯁꯅ ꯂꯥꯞꯁ ꯑꯣꯏꯕꯗꯒꯤ थोपनी है वफम मरम सेंट्रल सेक्यूरिटी फोर्स मथों मसक खंगदबदगी थोदोकसिंगे थोपनी स्टेट सेक्यूरिटी फोर्स सिंगचु ऑर्डर फंगी ऑर्डर फंगदे हाइबा वफम दो मसी अखोई ताबदि यामन नुंगाइते इरमदम से असुक औना वारे कांगखोंग चाइरे अखोइगी तौबम थोपा इथौनी हाइना खल्लगा लेंगाक लेरिबि सिंचु ज्ञान ताबिरो सेंट्रल सेक्यूरिटी फोर्स होइगरा स्टेट सेक्यूरिटी फोर्स होइगरा मखोइना ngakpa ngamoi hairagana misam parjada sinabiro अखोइ थोपा ngaage अखोइ थोपा लानसु खोइना ngamgani लौजु को
Zakudar Borobekra अखोइ पुलिस स्टेशन के मनुंग लेबा खुल असिदा दुकान फमदना होटेल फमदना लेजबा मैतैगी युम खरा कुकी टेरोरिस्ट कंगुना तुमना मै थारे मियोय अनिमसु मै मनुंगदा अदुम लौरगा अदुम हाने अदुगा मैदु खाबा लोरे मतुंगदा नुपी अंगांग हाइतारे मियोय तरु फारगा पुखरे मखोइसी फाबा उनबा हाटबा तुप्पा mayam toriba jaga mai thabasi gudar haiba police station ji mamang adugi manakasu CRPP adugo post mu leiba adugi mamang mukta duni da ikhoina yam thajadaba asugumba police station amadi central force leiba manak asida sumaina cookie terrorist changa kandaga dumaina attack torokane je punja singna su thajarudaba maram oiraga na saigi adu mokoi post yondana hotel famdana koi leijabani marangi thodoktuda aikoigi terrorist kanguna phagriba adugumba nupi angang yauna miyoi taru phagibse central amadi state force na masi kananabagi thodangsi athu butamda aikoi lokhat pigidabani karigumba central force of state porna makoi bu kanmangam dragadi manipur miyamna khaktumi leithwa ha khomsi batung thamjage.
In a major escalation of the violent crisis in the state, Kuki militants launched coordinated attacks at multiple villages of Valley districts. Kuki militants launched bombs, rockets and gun attacks from adjacent hills towards mighty villages in Kotruk, Kadangban, Faying and Kangchup Karang under Imphal West district last night. Kuki militants also burned down 10 houses and vehicles at Kangchup Karang under Sekmai constituency. The intruders also reportedly rode Kuki land on the wall of some houses. Responding to the aggression of Kuki militants, combined security forces also retaliated to the firing and heavy exchange of fire erupted for hours. In the firing, 2 VDF personnel also sustained injuries. Even though Manipur Fire Services tried to control the fire, many properties worth lakhs of rupees have been reportedly destroyed by the fire. On the other hand, Kuki militant also attacked Kotruk Senjam Chirang, Kadangban Part 1 and Part 2 as well as Faying areas with bombs and bullets around 7:30 p.m. last night from Kotruk Hill Range and villages located nearby. Security forces and local volunteers related, leading to exchange of gunfire intermittently till last night. However, there were no reports of casualties during the incident. Meanwhile, the locals fled for safer locations due to the heavy exchange of gunfire. Meanwhile, in the attack by Kuki militants, a long-range rocket bomb landed in the middle of Kurkul Lamsang Road in Imphal West District's Phumlo. The incident occurred at around 8 p.m. last night when the rocket bomb exploded in the middle of the road. Fortunately, the bomb did not cause any harm as it landed at a deserted place. However, it did cause panic and fear among the villagers as long-range missile landed at their village, which is located some 4 to 5 kilometers away from the nearest hill. An irate mob obstructed halfway traffic at Kangabog along National Highway 102 this morning after a Maruti 800 car travelling through the area was struck by a bullet fired from 3rd IRB Sentry Post stationed at Kangabog in Thobal district at around 9:10 a.m. The vehicle is owned by Sagolsem Rohit, 38, from Wangjing, Tepchamleikai. The bullet damaged the car's oil tank and rear windshield. However, no casualties were reported. At the time of the incident, Rohit, his wife Bijilata and their 2 children were en route to a hospital for a routine health checkup. Speaking to media, Bijilata said that her husband was driving. Their son was seated in the back while she and their daughter sat in the front. The car came to a halt after hearing a loud noise and upon inspection, they discovered smoke emanating from the vehicle. Bijilata expressed concern, maintaining that the bullet could have easily claimed alive and urged the authorities to take action against those responsible. As per sources, the incident occurred accidentally while the BSF personnel from D111 was cleaning his rifle when he was discharging their duty at the 3rd IRB Battalion. Following the incident, a public meeting was convened at Kangabog in presence of various local clubs, panchayat members and residents of Wangjing. The meeting adopted several resolutions and submitted a memorandum to the Thobal District Commissioner. The memorandum called for the immediate identification and punishment of the BSF personnel involved, including disclosing his army number and posting details. On the other hand, the community demanded a compensation of 5 lakh rupees for the victim's family and the removal of the BSF post from 3rd IRB camp.
Mana maning pamane ko ni mamang the pamane do makola mata gi ne ai gari je khama ga no to bo matam da sida dukan pamanu pi du ne gari je mai khu ka re gari no noi bon ha ban je phana kuin kum da de makun makon da gra ma tung ga adu e mana e kai no sidi kum da ra ji la on phone nung chi chang loi hun to me ai check up chat pa gi do adu ga kum da ra kan da si uri e ba e gari je mai khu ka ne na ha ka ne e makun la ni hule no mai ne na ha re ba mana maning the pamane ba ma di gari tong kan da ling di ba ma di dum gari tong we tum jei ba ma di hello ma di
Tangkhul Nagar Shanau Long Yangangpokpi area staged a protest at Yangangpokpi Bazaar condemning the gunfire attack by Kuki militants on Tangkhul farmers during harvesting rice at Shanti Khungbal in Yangangpokpi yesterday, leading to sustaining injury on a Tangkhul man. Speaking on the sideline of the protest, Vice President of Tangkhul Nagar Shanau Long Yangangpokpi area, Penmi Buru, strongly attempted the attack carried out by Kuki militants and appealed the state government to compensate Kamshuk Horam of New Kanan village, who sustained injury in the gun attack. Meanwhile, Southern Tangkhul Student Unions and Tangkhul Naga Valley Students Association Long has imposed blockade at Yangangpokpi Muirai Lamkai along Imphal Ukrul Road since this morning.
Ngarangki thapakki thokliba thapak adugi nungaidabagidamak ekoi sumaina protest tawjabani ani subada ekhoidi thapak suraga hingba mingaknani si area sida leba office ka ba sulaide school oja khara dawba lay adu thapak suraga hingba mi singbu sumaina wahan ba se ekhoi sukya yaning de hebese media gi through the phangthok jabani government da hijacking badi sugumba se irang se pamde peace thuna purak bio hebese hijacking.
On the other hand, Secretary of Yangangpokpi Lamjing Nupi Luk Khongbantabam Ongbi in Naubi stressed that despite numerous appeals to both the state government and Lamlai MLA Khongbantabam Ibomcha to replace central forces with state forces, no action had been taken by the relevant authorities. She highlighted that Kuki militants have been persistently attacking villages such as Sanasabi, Thamnapokpi, Yangangpokpi, Sabunkok Kuno and Santi Khongban. In response, residents of these areas had called for the removal of the Jad regiment and the deployment of state forces. However, their request had not been addressed. While the MLA assured today that state forces would be deployed and questioned whether this promise would be fulfilled.
Kukina nongmai kaptharaktana nangulgi isilinaw mokoyani sokiba masi aikoigi maigai dagisu yamna nuaitaba phongdokchari amadi ngarang thoiba kukina nongmai kapthadana nangulgi isilinaw sing soibasidasu aikoigi sidiona nongmai se kapthabani haidana sikumba aranba paw mayam ama akoi sida pubiriba mari jimenas tawibaja aikoi aduke matik pendre aduna aikoi hujik pamjabadi lairiba kukige bunker singje pugaibiyu haiba mafam sidaida state force amadi central force punna thambiyo haiba wapam ja sigi poche thamdaba taragadi aikoi nungti ayama matamda nongmai kapthadana aikoi leijeriba redbon yang popi Sanasabi thamna popi Santi Khongban hariba sigi awaba che sungpok poroi adudagi loksing ujariba kharasi loksanba ngambagi upai je suklai leitre aduna masigi mafam jidai thamba natana upai ama baw leiti haiba wapam je thamjabani.
Spokesperson of such an organization, Shanta Nahakpam, announced to impose 24-hour total shutdown in Imphal from 6 p.m. today to 6 p.m. tomorrow. In a press meet held at International Peace and Social Advancement (IPSA) Kangleipak office located at Kaishamthong, Shanta Nahakpam highlighted the Kuki militants' aggression by killing a woman identified as Maibum Sophia, 27, who was working in a paddy field at Saitun. He criticized the state government, police and various other law agencies for not addressing the killing of Sophia. He also strongly condemned the attack launched by Kuki militants indiscriminately and abduction of 3 women and 3 children. Citing the gun attack occurred at Sanashabi village, leading to the injury of a Tangkhul man, Shanta Nahapam criticized the state government for their failure to take statement even after the road blockade had been imposed along Jeshami Road by various CSOs. He further stated that the total shutdown has been imposed by IPSA, Pandam, Akomlup, KSA, IPAC, Kanglamai, KIL, LLK, Loyalup, SWA, Mikal, Aksil, ERDO over state government inaction against the multiple attacks carried out by Kuki militants. The shutdown will not affect medical, religious, water supply and emergencies.
Sakarga Kuki Milesinga Ada Dilida Waris Hanava and Prazaki confidence of Lava Matunda, Yamna Sitaway than a militant in Namu, no Waris Hagera, Saroida, Nawalo de Kainta Dakalite, Huiton Mudum Tomi, free hand the Tabi, Mongama, Aposimasi, Yamtina Condemned away, Zibam, the Shep Yamama Matunda, Niwetara, Poisikato Giva, Togosi, Poyosiki, Facebook, the Hansindo, Lady Drehaiva, Ama Viral, and Yatsalai, Adubu, Apoina, Ozigla, Lengasida, Ozigla, intelligence source Mayamzida. Hojiksu akoi thajaba thamaga sarkarna apaba matang chana hojiki mi singse rescue tawni haiba wakalon duga loinana sarkarna matik chaba step lokot pangam dose masi akoi loop town hojiki maikai digi condemn tawjari mata tawba yarni lengak se leitre moina akoida law igera central force igera tawningba tawba akoina kaim tawga moi moina na khallaga namchirang gi soida akoi kokru namchirang swai gi range da coordinated oiba attack akoi Facebook ta kaida social media da ure drone gi oiba attack then rocket kapak gi attack sigi mayam je Chatak was a sea Sakana came to Wum the Vazet. Sigi Matanga, Nasi, Akogi looked around Doisina, Akoimiam the Lautopsari, Hositagiona, 24 hours total shutdown Lautopsare, Koikangi, Miamsi, Amnozi, Nakan Mari Madagi, Blocket Toxanana, Chana Tanava, Walakwa, Port Naman Ningalakwa, High Punamase, Sigi Daitasi, Gang lower them name.
Convener of Kokomi Students Front, Ningthojam Dhanachandra, today drew the attention of relevant authority to check unscrupulous price hike for essential commodities by traders in the state. Kokomi Students Front today carried out drive against traders, shops who sell essential items at unreasonable prices on the pretext of economic blockade and the ongoing violence in the state. Speaking on the sideline, Dhanachandra urged shop owners and traders to adhere to price list which was fixed by CAF and PD on October 4. Kokomi Students Front also seized various items which were allegedly sold at higher prices, and shopkeepers have been advised to sell them at prices which was fixed by the government. Dhanachandra further urged traders in the state to stop selling essential commodities above the fixed prices.
ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯖꯥ ꯁꯦꯛꯁꯟ ꯀꯌꯥꯗꯒꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯀꯝꯄ꯭ꯂꯦꯟ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯑꯃ ꯂꯥꯛꯄ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯑꯁꯨꯝꯕ ꯃꯑꯣꯡ ꯃꯔꯤꯟ ꯇꯥꯗꯕ ꯃꯑꯣꯡꯗ ꯄꯣꯠ ꯆꯩꯒꯤ ꯃꯃꯜꯁꯦ ꯑꯇꯤꯌꯥ ꯄꯛꯅ ꯋꯥꯡꯅ ꯌꯣꯟꯈꯠꯂꯛꯄ ꯍꯥꯏ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯕꯤꯖꯤꯅꯦꯁ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯕꯁꯤꯡ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯀꯔꯕꯥꯔ ꯋꯥꯂꯥꯁꯤꯡꯅ ꯇꯧꯅꯤꯡꯕ ꯃꯑꯣꯡꯗ ꯇꯧꯈꯠꯂꯛꯄ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯃꯁꯤ ꯃꯄꯥ ꯃꯄꯨ ꯄꯥꯟꯗꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯀꯣꯛ ꯃꯔꯨ ꯅꯥꯏꯗꯕ ꯂꯝꯗꯝ ꯑꯃꯗ ꯇꯧꯒꯗꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯊꯧꯑꯣꯡ ꯑꯃꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯔꯝ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯄꯣꯠꯁꯤ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯍꯛꯆꯟꯅ ꯂꯧꯕꯒ ꯂꯣꯏꯅꯅ ꯉꯁꯤ ꯀꯣꯀꯣꯃꯤꯒꯤ ꯁ꯭ꯇꯨꯗꯦꯟꯠꯁ ꯐ꯭ꯔꯟꯠꯒꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯚꯣꯂꯨꯟꯇꯤꯌꯔꯁꯤꯡꯅ ꯉꯁꯤ ꯕꯖꯥꯔ ꯃꯅꯨꯡꯗ ꯗ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕ ꯆꯠꯆꯕꯅꯤ ꯅꯣꯡꯃꯒꯤ ꯆꯪꯗ꯭ꯔꯕ ꯌꯥꯗ꯭ꯔꯕ ꯄꯣꯠꯂꯝꯁꯤꯡꯁꯦ ꯃꯁꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯒꯚꯔꯟꯃꯦꯟꯠꯅ ꯂꯦꯞꯄꯤꯕ ꯑꯣꯛꯇꯣꯕꯔ 4ꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯦꯞ ꯑꯦꯟ ꯄꯤꯗꯤꯅ ꯊꯣꯛꯈꯤꯕ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯁ ꯂꯤꯁꯇꯣ ꯃꯗꯨꯗꯨ ꯁꯨꯡꯅꯠ ꯅꯠꯇꯕꯤꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯇꯧꯅꯤꯡ ꯃꯑꯣꯡꯗ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯌꯣꯟꯅꯤꯡꯕ ꯃꯑꯣꯡꯗ ꯃꯃꯜꯁꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯥꯟꯅꯗꯕ ꯃꯑꯣꯡꯗ ꯃꯃꯜꯁꯦ ꯌꯣꯟꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯍꯣꯜꯁꯦꯂꯔꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯌꯣꯜꯂꯛꯄꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯔꯝ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯔꯤꯇꯦꯜ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯕꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤꯅꯁꯨ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯈꯨꯗꯣꯡꯆꯥꯕꯁꯦ ꯂꯧꯔꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯄꯣꯠꯀꯤ ꯃꯃꯜꯁꯦ ꯑꯇꯤꯌꯥ ꯄꯛꯅ ꯋꯥꯡꯅ ꯌꯣꯟꯕꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯖꯥꯁꯤꯡ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯃꯤꯌꯥꯝꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯂꯥꯏꯔꯕ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯖꯥꯁꯤꯡꯗ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯑꯋꯥꯕ ꯑꯃ ꯃꯥꯌꯣꯛꯅꯕꯁꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯀꯣꯀꯣꯃꯤ ꯁ꯭ꯇꯨꯗꯦꯟꯠ ꯐ꯭ꯔꯟꯠꯅ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯍꯛꯆꯟꯅ ꯂꯧꯕꯒ ꯂꯣꯏꯅꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯃꯜ ꯍꯦꯟꯅ ꯌꯣꯜꯂꯤꯕꯁꯦ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯗꯥꯏꯇꯁꯦ ꯃꯁꯤ ꯒꯚꯔꯟꯃꯦꯟꯠꯅ ꯂꯧꯐꯝ ꯊꯣꯛꯄꯅꯦ ꯃꯔꯝꯗꯤ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯑꯣꯛꯇꯣꯕꯔ 4ꯗ ꯊꯣꯛꯈꯤꯕ ꯑꯣꯔꯗꯔꯗꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯁꯨꯝ ꯆꯠꯆꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯉꯁꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯊꯦꯡꯅꯖꯕ ꯗꯨꯀꯥꯟꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕꯒꯤ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯁ ꯂꯤꯁꯁꯦ ꯊꯦꯠꯄ ꯗꯨꯀꯥꯟ ꯑꯃꯠꯇꯗꯤ ꯌꯥꯎꯗꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯃꯁꯤ ꯑꯣꯔꯗꯔ ꯈꯛ ꯊꯣꯛꯑꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯄꯣꯠꯇꯨ ꯏꯜꯍꯟꯕꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯠꯇꯨꯃ ꯇꯧꯍꯟꯗꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯑꯣꯔꯗꯔ ꯊꯣꯛꯄꯒꯤ ꯀꯥꯟꯅꯕ ꯂꯩꯇꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯃꯔꯝ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯊꯣꯛꯈ꯭ꯔꯤꯕ ꯑꯣꯔꯗꯔꯁꯤ ꯏꯜꯍꯟꯅꯕꯒꯤꯗꯃꯛꯇ ꯃꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯆꯞ ꯆꯥꯕ ꯊꯧꯗꯥꯡꯁꯦ ꯂꯩꯉꯥꯛꯅ ꯂꯧꯕꯤꯒꯗꯕꯅꯤ ꯀꯟꯁꯔꯟ ꯑꯣꯊꯣꯔꯤꯇꯤꯅ ꯃꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯗꯤꯄꯥꯔꯠꯃꯦꯟꯠꯇꯨꯅ ꯂꯧꯕꯤꯒꯗꯕꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯊꯨꯕꯗ ꯒꯚꯔꯟꯃꯦꯟꯠꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯊꯕꯛꯁꯤ ꯄꯥꯏꯈꯠꯄꯤꯌꯨ.
Now, before we move on, it's time for a short commercial break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Mobile furniture na lagliba wedding season asigi anau contemporary wedding set furniture sing puduna lakchari loina na Manipur ihan hanba oina wedding set laibiba matamda 24 karat ki 5 gram ki gold coin free gift oina bizari mayam lengsin biraktuna mobile furniture ki 3rd edition the great wedding sales gold offer asi pre-booking tobiduna khudong jaba si lobiho
offer asi akupa information khambina bagi damakta sangai progda laiba mobile furniture la lengsin biro
Sktv's News ki mahitmen ki tongan mi episode singa miyami kudong chara basing paudam duna lakli. The Mic Men gi anouba series Go to Relief Camps. Series asigi episode mathang miyam gidamak nauna puduna luxury lanjana tongan relief camps singda changjafam loduna leiriba miyam ga unaba pafam adugi oriba phibam sing miyam da uhangadoriba new series of The Mic Men Go to Relief Camps every Wednesday at 2 p.m. only on Sktv's News.
Welcome back. You're watching Sktv's English News. More news and updates. Meanwhile, President of Manipuri Students Federation MSF, Hijam Roshan, has demanded government to take action against unreasonable price hike of essential commodities. Hijam Roshan was speaking to media at its office in Kwakatil Thongnaujam Laikai today. He informed that MSF carried out drive against shops that sell commodities at higher prices above the prescribed prices by the government. The drives were carried out at wholesale shops in Masjid Road, Thangal Bazar Alugali, Kasturi Thong and Nagampal. Hijam Roshan also maintained that MSF will be submitting a memorandum to Chief Minister and CAF and PD Minister regarding the issue.
Masjid Road, Ngari Gali, Alu Gali, Nagampan Amadi, Kasturi Thongda, Kogi Nong Madasang the Bayadro, Polam Sing, Maman Hena Yolamba Sigi Matanga Kogi Sinki. MSF na Tamjaning from the Langana, Tokiba, Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution Department na October ki date 4 da thokiba price e dukan sing da khoi amapok thelamdaba sin maram orekanda dukandar singsina sigi maman se henkana yolamba masi henkana yolamba dagi dukan ayamba akhoi MSF ki thongmi singna khoi thongon sali se khoi gi gamen na piba price listing sa si hana phajana miyam da khangalaba matungda mu khang haibane madu na tringai di hangba yaro hedna khoi MSF na dukan kunmok khoi thongon san bani ngasi se do makhata na su leptana koi hayeng su dum makhata na sanction gigini aduga business to wiriba dukan hambiriba isinau singna koi han leikraba polam singda hena maman tangkhalaga yon bagi thabak se si khudak lepka dawni miyam gi I chupani haina kon lawgani.
Imagi Maira has called on Chief Minister Biren to share details of his recent peace talk with 10 Kuki MLAs. Speaking at a press conference in Manipur Press Club, convener Tokchum Sujata questioned the state government's perspective of the public, implying concern whether the government values the people. She appealed to all political parties to take a decisive decision to bring a resolution of the state's ongoing conflict. She added that the group will initiate a drive at stores to investigate the recent surge of grocery price, warning store owners who were exploiting the ongoing conflict of the state to accept their responsibility. She added that the group will launch an investigation into the recent surge in grocery prices by visiting stores directly. She warned store owners against exploiting the state's ongoing conflict for profit, implying store owners to accept responsibility of any unwanted incident if found exploiting the price of grocery.
Jiri do hujik tawriba phibam saitun do tawriba thamna chabi da tawrib lon mafam khudima khoi maikai bari sido koi leba phibam sida ngasi phabiba sarkar da leiba kampu se kari khalaga leibirige haba question du mani akoi se hingdoira sidoira habagi pakum sima thuna pibiba pame onaba siamna emile taraga wari shanai haraga moina ngasi pidai ba reply duna ngasi pokto pakum ma piba ngamdribna kari giro ngarang matak tangku ki ani masu yong lo usabada kasuna ta do moi ki moi samatai noi hana pau piramaga di noi orega di koi tawoi dam ni kai adu su hai ga no ba moi na kari to duri ki bo bi moi yekna ma ka ku su mai re ga si terrorist ni tale ba mem se akoi meitai mem ma praja mem se hala ga moi ki nimba phangadra ba lambi phange moi na ti loi ma ka thinjale pochai phange phangdre ma pari na maro la ba tanja la ma ga saisra pota ka ta ni yo le re hoji ke situation se noi ka ba to ba tam la ba oi ne mo 1 week se thomai ba situation si da wa hai ka hai ka na ne je kham ki school ki session inauguration kha cha roi ki moi ki budget khara to pham supa to le se kari ki no ba se ma moi na kari mani ko se moi bio oi ba kan tra to bio satra sin ju cha ma na satra ji lo ji ya ki satra su satra ne ato ba group ki satra su satra apura ba ki khan ka dam ne sai da drama to da Imphal da ki same no.
Even as Manipur continues to be under turmoil for over a year, another challenge is emerging in the form of surge in prices for essential commodities. The prices for onions, garlics, cooking oil and other essential commodities have spiked in the past few days. While this issue can be attributed to economic blockade imposed on national highways by Naga civil society and also on the recent simmering tension in Jirbab district, people think many other factors are at play to push the prices of essential commodities. SKTV News spoke to shopkeepers, vendor owners and customers in this regard. Here's a special report from SKTV's video journalist Benson Nongthombam and camera person Jinkai Moirangcha.
Chahi amaga tha taruk fazilaklaba lamdam asida thokliba irang na maram oiduna nongmada changdaba yadraba polam singi mamal asumak hengalakli pochai mamal hengalakpagi awaba mayok naringe talak asida law and order gi isuga mari leidana thokpa thokdona maram oiduna Naga civil society organization singna national highway shutdown tokduna khongjang jangsin khibadagi lamdam asida maru oiba pochai pusilakpada khudong chadaba mayok nari ngasi lamdam asida miyamna nongmada changdaba yadraba chana thaknaba polam singi mamal atiya pangna wangkhalakle maruoina chana thaknaba polam singi manungda laingangna lepa mamalda alu kg da lupa nifu piba adu lupa humfu fawbagi changda miyamna laiduna chanari tilau kg da lupa humdra piba adu lupa chamaga tara dagina chamaga kun phawba yoli amadi chanam kg da lupa chaniga kunthra piba adu kg da lupa chahumga marfu fawbagi changda mamal hengalakli amadi tongan ba chana thaknaba polam sing leiba phangdabagi mathakta yonaba pot fawba godown da phangdabana miyam gi punsi amadi maruina leita laira nongmagi surga chajaba miyoi singda chauna saithing piri oirakli ba phim masida khoiraman kaithelda dukan phamliba amadi potchai leiba lakpa singna asumna pawdum lakhi
loin tangi aluju yam tangi adu ai tangdu ko chatal thingam da min ai yondare asi irang ne bako adu ma palai posina marang kan phada lak piraga di posi phada dum nungai bako lobu ko basu adu ga adai su lak de lambi da su yam jina ju thala ka paisa jam lo rabani na ne moi bhara jam changi hai moi na du seng hai adu ko pot ma mal hengat pani ba asi jina lambi jene boke ta bidara ba moi na athing ba thamda leidana ko phadan thabira ba adu de khoi su nungai ne bako posu hau na changla jo mangam gani lambi jam thalaga paisa ji lo rabani na ne thingdong ji yaudre ba wari handakti yamna
tang bai gidi yam thina tang ya tilo je ason kanorom digi dukanom digi thilapani ko asona dukan ana mun thong loi lo lore ko ada ni ka them rak tilo khra ler ba ya na ada ai di yom ba khoba gidi na tre jum da sum cha na ba khot na ba gidi mukta dukan tok jaraga su tang na sum kiji da sam therapy na leiri sin masi haidi am haininge akhoi gi inda sakana Manipur da yeng ba mieng hai gadra aduga hoji jik thoi ba kashi se si akhoi gi wakhan di mantri mando nama gisu akoi sigi bazar da tangi ba potsa masi akoi consumer convention jenggen bidre ai tare pot tang masi di sarkarna kitang jengel ninga di mamanji sarkarna lepi bra business karbo to bosina lepi bra hai baji ngasina aluji ai ji hange ko kiji de 85 sing akoi bag lo ba akoi ai longam da lorok te
tilong na sama tara yole alu na humdra yole maman se atuki mate hengkat nan lak paduna akhuju khitang du sunap na ba dagi patpa pumba yam yaw bo sina bijikti hek lak paga porak panata banina mathang kuina pandharaga moina ngamna ba enhau toraga moina porak panina patle yamna pumme aduna kanada tai sari ba thai ba akhoi gi paja sita da awa bo oyeba akhoi chu sempoto lupa lising tara kun khatang paraga tawdo loima thungna na ba poto ti aga yonjaga do bodo jekte potla momda jab namchan gare heba adu dena maram morga akhoi chu wai heba haidna kana de ain ima pukhi thengna da bangak ten huje aina ne he phamak pa de gine to kholai se ai amuk ta thengna dri gum
haji ti kano to tong de dai mo mon hotel phamine tai je haji pon na tang jela ko ne adagi akhoi ju se de khoi khupha nung balak ju man hen lo ya pote do ana chendong phang da bu yawi aga mahuta da bu yawi ana dukangi pochen mandi ngon ja hen kale haji alu phang de khoi alu phang da insang de na ta doi chang ni tra yum man ban pot ne hotel na changi je yum man ban hotel pochang ba je khoi ji lai ba ngam dare ba alu ju ji phang de de mau tha pi hai re khara na mer phu pi hai re ana khoi hotel da jam na gan to ba yang wa de
khoi seng che da khum phu pi re adu sa shen di helu ya de yang kai thai ni yang kai da dum pi di adu ga maman dil no ma gi sing jaw dong hen ka lai alu ju ji sida mar phu pi ai phang de mar phu du lai re ge chu phang de tilaw kg de chama ga kun pi phang de ba akoi hu ji je tilaw je theng wai thak tre
चनम जू थिरुंगाई थाक्त्रे मरोय नापाकपी मरा खरा तौ अदे आलू फंगदमिन हवाई मंगन खरा सिन सानाबम यावबा माले खोय वाखंदा मसी अखोयगी अखंगा हाइसिंगजे तौरगा को इसा इशुसिंगजी मयाम तौरेरगा मानरगा अखोयदि गुदामदा लेरंगदरान सबचां खले लोट पराना कोइ चिंगनैयबा अदु अखोयने संगागा थिरुबदि ngamdamnina tangi ni imawi sira barmang shong adum laireba adu oitade khoi mya punjala wakhan kitang khanba maya managa lingjen manaraga phataba mi singje takhaiba khokaiba bolge tawbona tabida kari laisige haji kai tawsige je imai sa khoi mya tanaraga tawya ba thabak tawbona phai haina khalle imai wakhandadi
National Highway Singi Nageta Lay Kundariba, Miam Gidamakta, Ladiba, Civil Society Organization Singna, Madamatam Gilapa, Issue Singda, Hariba, Imphal, Dimapur Madi, Imphal, Jiribam, National Highway Singasi, Asidapagi, shutdown to Bamadi, economic block and a chingba, Kongjung Changchila, Asina, Maramoraga, Lamdamasida Kuda, Minariba, Madi Puna Minariba, Full Kam Kudimaki, no Mugi Punchida Town, Checking Piri, Amarumda, Jahiyamaga Tatra, Pazilaklaba, Lamdamasida Togliba, Iran, Asina Maramoraga, Maning Haliba, Manipuri, economic masida haiba issue masa sing asina maram moirega national highway sing thingjilakpa shutdown torpa blockade torpana maram moirega hana soksin duna leirakba khoi economic film masi amta ka hena soksin nanugi maram adu oiri maram aduna lamda masida surga sajariba amadi nomagi karbar togduna hingjariba miyoi singna hairi madudi economic blockade amadi highway shutdown chingba khongjang asi chathabagi mohutta hena democratic oiba khongjang changsin binaba mari lenaba singi pungning sisi SKTV Damakta Hiram Singh Matang the Pogam Zariba video journalist Benson Nongtama Mamadi Chingkai Moirangsa Imphal.
Maheshwar Thongnaujum criticized the current state government's inability to resolve the ongoing conflict that has persisted in the state for 18 months, labeling them as incompetent. The statement was made at a press conference with executive members of RPI Thawale at Safdarjung Road, New Delhi yesterday. He condemned the recent killing of a Meitei woman and shooting indigenous Naga people by Kuki militants, emphasizing that the conflict was not driven by ethnic difference. He further stated that the situation of the state has been known worldwide, questioning the ability of India's paramilitary forces in subduing the situation. He pointed out that union ministers have not visited the state to work towards a resolution, questioning if the central government colluded together to prolong the conflict.
एक महिला बहुत कम उम्र की महिला को खेती करते हुए इनोसेंट महिला को ये जो कुकी अगरवादी टेररिस्ट है उसने बुरी तरीके से मार दिया। कल से उस दिन तो 2-3 दिन से चल रहा है थुन्नापप्पी जगह पे एक आर्मी ऑफिसर का भी घायल हो गया बाय द कुकी टेररिस्ट। आज भी शांतिपुर एरिया में एक हमारा पारंपरिक समुदाय हमारा इंडिजिनियस कम्युनिटी तांकुल का एक पर्सन भी घायल अच्छी बुरी तरीके से हुआ है बाय द कुकी टेररिस्ट। 1.5 years हो चुका है। ये कोई दो में हम हमेशा बोलते आया हूँ ये दो समुदाय की लड़ाई नहीं है। दिस इज द अटैक फ्रॉम द अदर कंट्री एंड दिस इज द अटैक फ्रॉम इलीगल इमिग्रेंट्स एंड द आउटसाइड टेररिस्ट। हम लोग ये पॉलिटिकल गेम खेलने का टाइमिंग नहीं है। ये सिर्फ प्लीज अभी तक आप कंट्रोल नहीं कर पा रहे, इसका मतलब आप असफलता हो, आप गवर्नमेंट वहां पे चला नहीं पा रहे हो और रूलिंग का भी ये है। और दूसरा ऑपोजिशन भी पार्टी बेसिस पे पॉलिटिकल गेम खेलना ये भी बहुत गलत बात है। एंड एवरी इंडियंस यूनाइट फॉर द सेफ्टी ऑफ द मणिपुर।
Meanwhile, President of RPI Thawale, North India, Manju Chibar, who also attended the press conference, stated that state government's incompetency was the reason the conflict persisted for 18 months. He stated that the state government has the absolute power in bringing peace to the region, adding that the current state government wanted to prolong the conflict.
Manipur is burning. The whole country knows, the whole world knows. महिलाएं कैंडल मार्च करी, मशाल्स लेके चली, लोगों ने कितना प्रोटेस्ट किया और भी बहुत कुछ मणिपुर में हुआ। क्या आप लोग इस बात को बिलीव करते हैं कि पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस इस सिचुएशन को कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकती हैं? पर करना चाहती नहीं है। जो नेताओं को जाके मणिपुर में बोलना चाहिए, जिन नेताओं को वहाँ जाके अपनी प्रेजेंस दिखानी चाहिए, कोई नहीं जाता है। क्यों नहीं जाता है? क्या बाहर की गवर्नमेंट्स के साथ हमारा कोई साजिश चल रहा है? क्या कोई अंडरस्टैंडिंग हो गई है कि जलने दो इस स्टेट को, मरने दो इन मणिपुर के लोगों को? क्यों? वाई? तो मेरा आपको जवाब यही है कि जो गवर्नमेंट है वो चाहती ही नहीं है कि मणिपुर के अंदर शांति हो। वो इस कंट्री की पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज में भी एक डाइवर्जन चाहती हैं जहां एक कोने में एक छोटा सा स्टेट जल रहा है, एक छोटा सा स्टेट बर्बाद हो रहा है और उसकी ओर नजर इसलिए नहीं डाली जा रही है तो उनको फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता है. सो फॉर देयर ओन पॉलिटिकल गेन्स आई थिंक द पार्टीज आर नॉट इंटरफियरिंग एंड आई थिंक दिस इज द ओनली रीजन व्हाई मणिपुर इज बर्निंग.
Apunba Ownba Manipur Magidamag, Kanglei Women Welfare Association and All Manipur Progressive Students Association organized a protest rally at Sombung and Sajiwa temporary shelter as part of the ongoing demand to relocate the residents of relief camps to their old homes. At the protest, residents of relief camps have voiced a deep frustration over the state government's inability to resolve the ongoing conflict, expressing fears that prolonged instability could lead to a rise in suicides among those affected. In a poignant statement, they suggested that if the government cannot end the conflict, it might as well put an end to their suffering all at once, underscoring the severe emotional and psychological toll the crisis has taken on displaced individuals. A resident of Sombung temporary shelter stated the residents have faced difficulties in many ways, implying that the hardships are so severe that thoughts of suicide will surface among many residents.
ꯆꯤꯡꯗ ꯂꯩꯕ ꯌꯥꯔꯣꯏ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯁꯨ ꯇꯝꯄꯥꯛꯇꯁꯨ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯂꯩꯕꯒꯤ ꯃꯐꯝ ꯑꯃ ꯆꯞ ꯆꯥꯅꯁꯨ ꯄꯤꯕꯤꯗꯦ ꯈꯪꯍꯧꯗꯅ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯋꯥꯔꯤꯉꯩ ꯇꯥꯏꯃꯤꯡꯁꯤꯗ ꯏꯃꯥ ꯑꯃꯁꯨ ꯉꯔꯥꯡ ꯁꯤꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯑꯋꯥ ꯃꯩꯁꯥꯁꯦ ꯈꯥꯡꯕ ꯉꯝꯗꯗꯅ ꯃꯁꯥ ꯃꯊꯟꯇ ꯁꯨꯁꯥꯏꯗ ꯇꯧꯅ ꯁꯤ ꯂꯩꯔꯝꯃꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯁꯨ ꯂꯩꯇꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯁꯔꯀꯥꯔꯅ ꯄꯤꯗꯕ ꯅꯠꯇꯦ ꯄꯤ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯆꯦꯡ ꯆꯥꯛ ꯈꯔ ꯄꯤꯕꯁꯤꯅꯗꯤ ꯏꯆꯥ ꯏꯁꯨ ꯂꯥꯏꯔꯤꯛ ꯇꯝꯕ ꯑꯃ ꯇꯧꯕꯗ ꯃꯦꯟꯕ ꯀꯣꯟꯅꯗꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯂꯧ ꯀꯨꯝꯕ ꯆꯠꯂꯦ ꯃꯤꯒꯤ ꯈꯨꯂꯪ ꯂꯧ ꯁꯨꯕ ꯍꯜꯂꯛꯄ ꯃꯇꯝꯗꯗꯤ ꯏꯃꯥꯁꯦ ꯂꯩꯔꯝꯗ꯭ꯔꯦꯕ ꯂꯩꯔꯝꯗꯕꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯂꯩꯈꯣꯝ ꯂꯩꯅꯥꯡ ꯏꯇꯩ ꯇꯩꯒ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯑꯁꯤꯕꯝꯗ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯆꯪꯉꯤ ꯎꯅꯕꯁꯨ ꯐꯪꯗ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅꯁꯨ ꯊꯦꯡꯅ ꯂꯥꯛꯈꯤꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅꯁꯨ ꯇꯧꯏ ꯈꯣꯠꯂꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅꯁꯨ ꯂꯧ ꯆꯠꯄꯅꯤꯅ ꯐꯣꯟꯁꯨ ꯄꯨꯍꯧꯗ꯭ꯔꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯌꯨꯝꯗ ꯍꯜꯂꯛꯄ ꯀꯥꯟꯗꯗꯤ ꯏꯃꯥꯗꯨꯁꯨ ꯂꯩꯔꯝꯗ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯁꯤꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯦ ꯈꯜꯂꯨꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯃꯃꯥ ꯑꯣꯏꯕꯁꯤꯡꯁꯦ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯀꯗꯧꯕꯁꯨ ꯌꯥꯝꯃꯛꯑꯅꯤ ꯒꯣꯔꯃꯦꯟꯁꯤꯅ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯁꯨꯝ ꯊꯝꯕꯤꯒꯗꯧꯕ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯗꯤ ꯄꯨꯂꯞ ꯑꯃꯨꯛꯇ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯍꯥꯠꯄꯤꯕꯅ ꯍꯦꯟꯅ ꯐꯩ ꯆꯦꯡ ꯆꯥꯛ ꯄꯤꯗꯧ ꯁꯔꯨꯛꯇꯨꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯄꯨꯟꯅ ꯍꯥꯠꯄꯤꯔꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤꯗ ꯂꯩꯔꯦꯕ.
Meanwhile, a resident of Sajiwa temporary shelter expressed frustration over keeping all the people cramped at a small space, facing hardships every day, mentioning the recent case of suicide of a 62-year-old lady at Shawumbung shelter. The residents held placards stating that they want competent government and a good leader in the state.
Sarkarna apoi sida leibje mayam amtang miyeng janjan biraga apoi yumda hanba ngamba leiba amtang ngamhandiba ohendi achukuina sida leidijida apoi bu nungai gare na haibje sije apoi haibje haheninde sarkarna.
Shija Hospitals and Research Institute and AGMC and GB Bunt Hospital have successfully completed their second kidney transplant together today at AGMC and GB Bunt Hospital in Agartala. Shija's management expressed pride in contributing to this achievement, marking a significant advancement for kidney transplant programs in the region. The transplant procedure performed on a 28-year-old male patient was completed by a team of 10 specialists from Shija Hospitals, collaborating with a dedicated medical team at AGMC and GB Bunt Hospital. Consultant urologist at Shija Hospitals and Research Institute, Dr. Sumorendra Paunam, highlighted Shija's commitment to empowering AGMC's nephrologists and urologists, aiming for them to independently perform kidney transplants in the future. With a record of 115 kidney transplants, including 3 from deceased donors, Shija remains committed to expanding high-quality kidney care across the region, aiming to provide accessible, high-quality kidney care for the people of Tripura and surrounding areas. Prominent child climate activist Lysipriya Kangujam has departed India for a 7-day visit to Brazil to attend the G20 Summit 2024 at the invitation of Brazilian President Lula da Silva. 13-year-old Lysipriya was the only child invited to speak in this year's G20 Summit. Lysipriya will address world leaders on the urgent need to combat climate disinformation and will advocate for wealthy nations to fund reparations for climate-related damage in poorer developing nations. She also plans to raise awareness of the ongoing conflict in Manipur and discuss issues affecting East Timor. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also attend the summit along with US President Joe Biden, French President Emmanuel Macron, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto, and Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty will be launched on November 18 during the G20 summit under the initiative of Brazilian government and co-chaired by President of East Timor, Dr. José Ramos Horta. It will be a global task force on social protection for nutrition, human capital, and local economic development of least developed nations. Now in the sports news. The first ever youth gospel meet on the theme Effort to Keep the Unity began on November 11 at Chinkau Baptist Church in Chinkau Village, Tosem Subdivision, organized by Barak Zone Office and Youth Coordinating Committee of the Rongmei Baptist Churches Council, Barak Zone. Prizes were presented to the football and volleyball championship, encouraging the young participants. 16 churches with 14 men's football teams and 5 women's volleyball teams from the Barak Zone are participating in the event. The event's opening day concluded with an exhibition football match between the men's teams of Chinkau Baptist Church and Makwe Baptist Church, kicking off a week of community building through sports and fellowship. Manipur's Shannon Loitongbam bagged gold medal at the 9th Northeast Prize Money Badminton Tournament organized by Dibrugarh Veteran Badminton Club at Dibrugarh DDSA Indoor Stadium, Chowkidinghi, held from 9 November to 11 November. According to a press release by Joint Secretary and Robin of Manipur Badminton Association, she bagged the gold medal at singles under 11 category. And in the weather report. According to ICAR Regional Center Lamphel state's maximum temperature was recorded at 28.2 degrees Celsius, while the minimum temperature was 16 degrees Celsius. The maximum relative humidity was measured to be 94% in the morning and 50% in the evening. Now, before we wrap up for today's English news, let's take a quick look at the headlines once again. IG administration K. Jayanta vows to search for 6 missing persons, including children and women, until found in Jiribam. Kokumi warns of mass agitations if government fails to rescue 6 missing persons in Jiribam district. Bomb and bullet attacks hit multiple areas in Imphal West District. 10 houses set ablaze at Kangtub Karang. Bullet fired from 3rd IRB Kangabuk Sentry Post pierces a car on National Highway 102. Protests staged at Yangangpokpi Bazaar in response to gun attack on farmers. Thirteen civil society organizations called 24-hour total shutdown in the state, citing government inaction in fresh violence. And Cookie Students Front urges relevant authority to check unscrupulous price hike for essential commodities by traders in Manipur. Now that's all we have for today's English news. Thank you for watching SKTV News, the first ever OTT platform in Manipur. Please visit SKTV website skyc.in to download SKTV app. You can now access Google Play Store to download the app. SKTV iOS app is now accessible on Apple App Store. For early access, use the QR code. The download link will also be pinned in all our comments section. Join us for real-time news updates, exclusive interviews, and comprehensive analysis of current affairs in Manipur. Have a good night.